Hi, my name is Aneena. I am an architect and illustrator.
Hi, my name is Neenu and I am mother of an almost 3-year-old toddler, and I run my own business called Mystic Love.
Hi, Neenu. It's really a pleasure to meet you after having followed you on Instagram. And 3D casting and the keepsake artist is very new for me. I'm very intrigued by what it is. So can you start by explaining possibly what it is and where you started also?
Yeah, definitely. So where I started is like once my baby was born. So കുഞ്ഞു ഉണ്ടായതിന് ശേഷം ഇറ്റ്സ് ലൈക്ക് all those memories is like പെട്ടെന്ന് നമുക്ക് ലോസ്റ്റ് ആയി പോകുന്ന സംഭവങ്ങളാണ്. ലൈക്ക് അംബ്ലിക്കൽ കോഡ് ആണെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ എത്ര സൂക്ഷിച്ചാലും ആഫ്റ്റർ ഫ്യൂ ഇയേഴ്സ് നമ്മളത് എവിടെ വെച്ചാലും നമ്മൾ വിൽ ഫോർഗെറ്റ് ഇറ്റ്. അപ്പം കൺവേർട്ടിങ് ഇറ്റ് ഇൻ ടു എ ജ്വല്ലറി ഓർ ഷോ പീസ് ഓർ സംതിങ് അത് നമുക്ക് എവിടെയെങ്കിലും സൂക്ഷിച്ച് നമുക്ക് ഒരു ഷോക്കേസിൽ വെച്ചാൽ തന്നെ നമുക്ക് എപ്പോഴും കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ഒരു സംഭവം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ജ്വല്ലറി ആയിട്ട് വെച്ചാൽ വി ക്യാൻ വെയർ ഇറ്റ് എവറി ടൈം. Not only jewelry, we can also convert it into a keychain or whatever we want. So all those are like something that is very close to our heart. And baby's first hair, nammal first cut in the nails and all those stuff.
How did you know there was something like this that you could do?
Actually Google nanu ariഞ്ഞது തന്നെ.
Did you start by thinking how you can preserve this?
Yeah, mainly നമ്മൾ ഇപ്പം ഇൻസ്റ്റഗ്രാം തുറക്കുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ when we search for something else in Google, we'll get like the other baby related stuff. അങ്ങനെ സജഷൻ വന്നിട്ടാണ് ഞാൻ ഈ പേജസ് ലൈക്ക് അതർ ആർട്ടിസ്റ്റിൻ്റെ പേജസ് കണ്ടു തുടങ്ങിയത്. ആൻഡ് ആഫ്റ്റർ ദാറ്റ് ഐ തോട്ട് ലൈക്ക് വൈ കാണ്ട് ഐ ഡു ദിസ്. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു തോട്ട് വന്നിട്ടാണ് ഞാൻ ഇതിലോട്ട് വന്നത് തന്നെ. And it got my attention, like it's like a very unique thought, like converting something that's very meaningful and seeing the mother's happiness once they receive the pendant or the final piece. Now seeing their family's happiness once they receive the final piece, it's like very you can't say, you can't express that in words.
I think thing with memories, Nacha, Doodleholic also started by documenting memories, because it started off as a side hustle for me when I was in college. Our samayat is when I learnt Photoshop and all of that. Our excitement is when I started to illustrate on Photoshop, and I think that's when I started taking up commissioned artwork where I would turn people's memories onto products. Products എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ആ സമയത്ത് ആദ്യം ഫ്രെയിംഡ് ആർട്ട് വർക്ക് ആണെങ്കിലും പിന്നെ I got into notebook covers. So if it was a friend's birthday, somebody would tell me about a particular instance in their life, I would illustrate it, put it on a notebook. So it became a product that they could use. That memory could be put on. So I think, and what kept me going then also was to see their joy when they opened the product, and kai kittumba avaru kittuna joy.
That's the main thing
that's what keeps me going, and I can really connect to that also.
Yeah, the same thing happens with casting and the delivery also. I always hand deliver the products.
Right.
Like something that we love to do. When we do that and we get that satisfaction, namukku athrayum oru sandoshana when we see the other people also
finding happiness in it.
Yeah, അവർ ആ ഒരു ഹാപ്പിനെസ് കാണുമ്പോൾ നമുക്കും ആ ഒരു സന്തോഷം.
നമ്മൾ അത് ഉണ്ടാക്കിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് നമ്മളിങ്ങനെ ആന്റിസിപ്പേറ്റ് ചെയ്യും അത് അവരുടെ കൈ കിട്ടുമ്പോൾ അവരുടെ. So when you actually see it,
I think very like കാസ്റ്റിങ്ങിന്റെ ഫ്രെയിംസ് ഹാൻഡ് ഡെലിവർ ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ when I wait for them to open and give their feedbacks. Like we go to their homes to take their casting, so they all families are very welcoming. വീട്ടിൽ വന്നിട്ടാണെങ്കിലും നമ്മൾ അവിടെ കാസ്റ്റിംഗ് എടുത്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുമ്പോഴാണെങ്കിലും they are happy, like we create a memory for them that's like preserved for a lifetime. അവർക്ക് like even if their children grow up, after their children have a kid also, that memory is passed on from like they can pass on like
years,
for years.
So so you go to these houses to get the samples, or I don't know,
casting.
The casting, and how long does the process usually take?
Usually like maximum we can take it in half an hour. It depends on the number of like castings and all. Maximum we usually give like a 2-hour casting time for each client. And inside that, if we have any errors or something, if baby wakes up or anything, അങ്ങനെ എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടായി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ
so mostly
babies ആണ് യൂഷ്വലി എല്ലാവരും വരുന്നത്. കപ്പിൾസിനെക്കാട്ടിലും ബേബീസിന്റെ ആണ് കൂടുതലും ആൾക്കാർക്ക് പ്രിസർവ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഇഷ്ടം. കാരണം ദാറ്റ്സ് ദ സ്റ്റേജ് ദാറ്റ് പാസസ് ഓൺ വെരി ഫാസ്റ്റ്. So that's something that
so you started this for yourself, right? How did you get somebody else to want this,
like
put it up on
said,
Instagram?
Like friendsന് ചെയ്തു കൊടുത്ത് അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ ചെയ്തു കൊടുത്താണ് നമ്മൾ തുടങ്ങിയത്.
When did it turn into a business
ആയി തുടങ്ങിയ like mainly just an idea, like that happiness, these നമുക്ക് കിട്ടുന്ന ആ ഒരു സന്തോഷം മറ്റുള്ളവർക്കും കൂടെ കിട്ടത്തില്ലേ എന്നോർത്തിട്ടാണ് ആ ഒരു ബിസിനസ് ആക്കാൻ try ചെയ്തത് തന്നെ. Instagram is a great platform for that, so why not Instagram? So started a page and just posted some work of mine, started getting orders and went on from there.
Same here also. I think I started by, I think the first thing I did was a recipe book for my grandmother. So I drew something very customized for her, and then she was overjoyed for my mother and for my aunt, my mother and my grandmother. So our aveshathil I started making more gifts for people that were very dear to me. That's when I figured, okay, this can really spark joy in others, and that's when I started putting it up on Instagram, and that's where Doodleholic started also.
So can you tell me more about like your products, like what kind of products you
So I am somebody who likes to doodle on anything. The more I get exposed to the different industries and printing industries, I want to print on everything. But where we are at right now is we are focusing on our stationery products first, but hopefully we'll get into more lifestyle products soon. But right now, Doodleholic products, we have around 25 products, which are all stationery products with your notebooks, your planners, your memo pads, so that's what we are focusing on right now largely.
Okay, that's really great. Doodling is like a really fun part of our life that we lost in our late childhoods.
Exactly. That's where Doodleholic workshops thodaganalla thought also came, because I felt like you sit in a room full of adults and you ask them, do you think you can draw? Or do you think you can doodle? No, I've done that for my workshops. I've done it before. Nobody is confident about it. You go to a room full of kids and ask them, do you think you can draw? They'll all happily put their hands up. But these are the kids who grew up into the adults that we spoke about earlier.
Yeah, after that teenage time, if you ask,
I think it's before teenage. The first time someone handed you, let's say, a crayon or a color pencil, you automatically knew what to do with it.
Yeah,
nobody had to tell you this is what you do. You started exploring and expressing yourself with those colors. But at some point of time, I think when we start school, we train kids to communicate only through words and letters and numbers. Padike nammada communication nammada expression we just use verbal language, and we slowly our visual language vittu പോകും. Also നമ്മൾ വളർന്നു വന്ന ഒരു എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ സിസ്റ്റത്തിലുള്ള ആർട്ട് ക്ലാസ്സസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് they kind of teach kids to draw in a particular way. കുറച്ചൊരു റിയലിസ്റ്റിക് ആയിട്ടുള്ള രീതിയിൽ വരയ്ക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്ന പിള്ളേർക്ക് വരയ്ക്കാം, മറ്റുള്ളവർക്ക് കഴിവില്ലാന്ന് മനസ്സിലാക്കി. So they take a step back and they completely depend on the verbal language. അപ്പം ആ സമയത്ത് ടച്ച് വിട്ടു പോകുന്നേ ഉള്ളൂ. That's why I take an effort to bring those adults back to that joy of doodling, because doodling എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ആർട്ട് വർക്കിനെക്കാട്ടിലും it's a great way to express yourself. There's so much you can do with it. It's very therapeutical process. You can even learn better and communicate better with it. So adellam focus ചെയ്താണ് workshops ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ structure ചെയ്തേക്കുന്നത് adultsന്. Kidsന് at that young age itself we are trying to tell them that as you grow up, hold on to doodling എന്നുള്ളത് ആ പ്രായത്തിൽ തന്നെ പഠിപ്പിച്ചു കൊടുക്കാനുള്ളതാണ്. So that's where the thought behind the Doodleholic workshops come from.
How many workshops have you done so far?
So I actually gathered the courage to do workshops. I think early 2020 ലായിരുന്നു. We did 1 or 2 workshops, and then as you know COVID happened. But that was the beginning of a lot of online workshops. And അതിൻ്റെ ഗുണം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മുടെ ഞാൻ ട്രിവാൻഡ്രത്തെ ഒരു ചുറ്റുവട്ടത്ത് മാത്രം വർക്ക്ഷോപ്സ് ചെയ്യാനാണ് ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചിരുന്നത്. But because COVID happened, we had access to kids from around the world. So we had kids and adults. So we did a lot of sessions. Every month we had about 3, 4, 5 sessions that we did COVID in the samayathu mottham, and both pre-recorded and live sessions that I did. Appam angane, but right now COVID padukka mari thodangiyapam we've restarted offline sessions again. And adindaya joy under to see real people with real pen and paper drawing in front of you and real expressions, and that's also good. So we do both online and offline ipo hybrid mode la ipo cheyyunnadu.
That's really great actually.
Yeah.
So seeing the joy, like people when they draw and when they express their feelings, that joy is like really.
So when people come അവർ ഇച്ചിരി nervous ആയിട്ടാ വരുന്നത്, എന്നെ കൊണ്ട് വരയ്ക്കാൻ പറ്റത്തില്ല. But the people who usually sign up for these workshops are people who really want to draw. Or really want to enjoy that process and be happy with the process. പക്ഷേ അവർക്ക് എന്തോ ഒരു inhibition. So when they walk out of our workshops and the feedback we get is really satisfying.
So how many days are the workshops usually?
So there are workshops where we split it across 4 to 5 days. All the sessions on 1 hour sessions on 1 hour sessions la koodalum introduction to the idea of doodling aanu. Pinne 4 part session like ഇച്ചിരി techniques ഒക്കെ കാണിച്ചു കൊടുക്കും. Again, when I say techniques, I don't show them to draw a certain way. I
draw their own way എന്നുള്ള രീതി.
ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ പാറ്റേൺസ് എക്സ്പ്ലോർ ചെയ്യുന്ന ദിവസം ഉണ്ടാവും. സോ അങ്ങനെ നമ്മൾ ആദ്യം കുറച്ച് പാറ്റേൺസ് ഒക്കെ വരച്ചിട്ട് and towards the end of the session they'll be trying to convert their feelings into patterns. So they are just trying to discover their own style of doodling out there. So that's the format we follow.
Nice. It's really nice. So Aneena, how did you start your business journey?
You mean how I reached more people? I think, like I said, I started off by gifting people, and then from the joy I got I understood from them, I wanted to reach more people. Past samayathu, thankfully I was aware of Instagram as a platform, and that's where Doodleholic kicked off actually. ആ സമയത്ത് ഞാൻ I think one of the first pictures that I have is of my cousins and my grandparents and out holding Doodleholic custom artwork. So അതിൻ്റെയൊക്കെ തന്നെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ആദ്യം ഇൻസ്റ്റഗ്രാമിൽ ഇട്ടത്. And it really helps when you have a support system, like your friends and family, when they share it with their Instagram networks or their social media networks, you reach out to ഒത്തിരി കൂടെ ആൾക്കാർ അല്ല. ആൻഡ് ദാറ്റ്സ് എ ഗ്രേറ്റ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ഫോർ എനി ബിസിനസ്. ആൻഡ് ഐ തിങ്ക് ഇറ്റ്സ് ഈസിയർ നൗ ഫോർ ബിസിനസ്സസ് ടു സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ദാൻ എവർ ബിഫോർ അല്ലേ. പണ്ട് ലൈക്ക് യു വർ സേയിങ് ഏർലിയർ എന്താ യു നീഡ് എ ലോട്ട് ഓഫ് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് ടു സ്റ്റാർട്ട്.
യു ക്യാൻ ഡെഫിനറ്റ്ലി ഗ്രോ ഫ്രം ദാറ്റ്. അതിൽ നിന്ന് നമുക്ക് ഒരു ലൈക്ക് ഒരു സ്മോൾ ഗ്രോത്ത്. And you can, I think we have a provision of like posting ads on Instagram itself.
Okay, so we spoke about the positives of having social media, but definitely I've had certain challenges when it comes to social media as well. I'll tell you one. One is nerthe parnala algorithm. Algorithm can be very tricky, especially when you're trying to create something, right? So and I think Instagram, I'm not just talking about Instagram in this case, I'm talking about any social media platform you want to post on, they require you to be consistent. Like consistent ആയിട്ട് ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് അതിനകത്ത് ഇടുമ്പോഴാണ് നമ്മൾ കൂടുതൽ ഡിസ്കവറബിൾ ആവുന്നത്. The more you're consistent, the more you put yourself out there every day, that's when more people see you, and that's what you need for your business. പക്ഷേ as somebody who runs a creative business, it is very difficult to keep up with that. Chalapam it really gets to you and brings anxiety. Ennekondu ella dosam idu create cheyan pattunnillallo ennullaru, but that can take it to a different direction also.
So it can affect you mentally.
It does really. So you have to always be ready to perform manslaya. So other definitely is a challenge, and I don't push myself. Adiyaka I used to push myself a lot, but I'm taking it very slow on social media because I realized it could really get to you. So I take those breaks which has affected the business, to be honest. Pinning, and when I'm back, when I'm ready again, then I have to start veendum. I have to yeah, it's very difficult. So that I feel is a challenge. Also, you know, you have to manage the social media, you have to create the content, you have to do all the other operational work. So that managing kind of difficult when it's expecting you to be so consistent.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was the challenge that I have faced, especially on the online space. Do you have any challenges in that space?
Definitely. Coming to Instagram, not only Instagram, social media as a whole, you can face like negative comments, negative feedbacks. That's the main thing that you can face. Like we'll get like definitely എല്ലാ ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസേഴ്സ് പറയുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യമാണ് നെഗറ്റീവ് കമൻറ്റ്സ്. ഞാൻ ആദ്യമൊന്നും അതൊന്നും ഫേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല. പിന്നെ ബ്രസ്റ്റ് മിൽക്ക് ജ്വല്ലറിയുടെ അതൊക്കെ കുറച്ചൊക്കെ ഒന്ന് ക്ലിക്ക് ചെയ്ത് തുടങ്ങിയപ്പം പീപ്പിൾ ആർ ലൈക്ക് അയ്യേ ഇതെന്താ സംഭവം, ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ ചെയ്യാമോ, അങ്ങനത്തെ കമൻറ്റ്. ആൻഡ് കാസ്റ്റിങ്ങിൻ്റെ ഇതാണെങ്കിലും ലൈക്ക് പീപ്പിൾ ആർ ലൈക്ക് കൈയും കാലും മാത്രമായിട്ട് വെച്ചേക്കുന്ന കണ്ടിട്ട് ഒരു അങ്ങനെ കാണുമ്പോൾ ഒരു വല്ലാത്ത ഒരു ഫീലിംഗ്.
No, I think it's something that is very unheard of. So suddenly when you see that, people might raise their eyebrows a bit.
Definitely.
How do you face that?
I just close my eyes to that. Definitely. അത് നമ്മൾ നോക്കി നിന്ന് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ it will be definitely a full stop for us. We don't have to like listen to every comment,
because there are more people who are appreciating it than
definitely because one or two comments out there will be to bring you down, or the others are like go for it. You will have to like skip that comments or just close your eyes to that and just go forward.
നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ the appreciation you get out of social media എന്നുള്ളതുണ്ടല്ലോ, that also helps you a lot. So one thing I do with Doodleholic is, with every product we create, we make people part of that process. അതായത് സ്റ്റോറീസിലൂടെ ആണെങ്കിലും എന്തെങ്കിലും we ask them what they want, what they think about the product, and we actually use that as our real feedback in creating the process also. I think feedback from social media, another, it depends on what you want to take out of it. So
like you said, the Instagram has that question and answer function, so you can get an idea of like what customers want, and you have like the options or polls, and you can get an idea of what customer wants, and you can actually execute it in your design. Most of the small business
do that. So I feel like when the product finally comes out, people feel that they've been part of the process. So that's what I felt out of. So that's why I keep continuing that, and it really helps me also. Pinna chella samayathe when I'm doing collabs with brands, sometimes it's a brand from another cultural background altogether. But aa samayathe I don't have that in the reference okke illadirikina samayathe, it's the Instagram audience that pitches in. If they're part of that culture, if they're part of that state, they'll come and say, okay, why don't you try this and this? And when you put the final work out there, I feel that they feel that they are a part of this, and that's when brand love and brand connection also comes. So what I'm trying to say here is, and the feedback will come in all forms. It's
not always good. It's also
but there's always good. I think it's important to focus on what's good.
Definitely.
So I mean, I'm talking about running a business. Otherwise, what are some challenges you faced with running the business as a woman and as a small business?
As a small business, definitely running it alone, and with a baby, definitely all mothers can understand that. With a baby and managing the business alone is definitely one thing that is a big challenge.
But it's also when the baby was born that you started the business also.
She was almost one when I started the business. Like I was researching at that time the right material. That's the biggest challenge I have faced. Almost 1.5 years I have researched for the right material. The biggest challenge that I faced is the breast milk, the formula that I need for the breast milk jewelry. The right formula that I need. Adu kandupidikkunnaayirunnu the biggest challenge that I faced.
How did you come to that? Where did you get the resources to learn and understand about it? Or
A lot of research and
Reading.
reading, and I had to go through a lot of books and lot of reading on
Content,
Google, and lot of research material from other not many artists reveal their no artists reveal their secret formula. It's breast milk jewelry, part, the breast milk preservation formula, that's a secret formula for every artist. So each artist has their own preservation formula. They keep it as a secret for themselves, and some of them sell their formula. They make a powder out of it and they sell it for it's a bit costly, and that's usually based in US. The people who sell and importing it to India is also very high priced. So that's not an option. So I had a chemist friend of mine who also helped me with formulating the formula. So that's how it definitely took 1.5 years, and the right formula, that was the biggest process. And after that, even finding the right material for the casting, അതിന് നമുക്ക് പല മെറ്റീരിയൽസും കിട്ടും, low quality materials and all. ബട്ട് ബേബീസ്, നമ്മൾ ന്യൂ ബോൺ ബേബീസിന് വരെ യൂസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നതാവണം എന്നുള്ളതും കൊണ്ട് ഫൈൻഡിങ് ദ റൈറ്റ് മെറ്റീരിയൽ വാസ് ഡെഫിനറ്റ്ലി ഹാർഡ്. മൈ ബേബി ഹാസ് അലർജി. സോ ഞാൻ അവളിൽ ട്രൈ ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ് ഞാൻ അത് ആക്ച്വലി റൈറ്റ് മെറ്റീരിയൽ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചത് തന്നെ. സോ ആഫ്റ്റർ that's the main challenge that was faced that I have faced. So what are the challenges that you have faced?
I mean, starting small എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ആ സ്മോൾ ആയിട്ട് തന്നെ നിന്ന് പോകാൻ എളുപ്പമാണ്. ഇറ്റ്സ് അബൌട്ട് ചാലഞ്ചിങ് യുവർ സെൽഫ് ആൻഡ് ഗ്രോയിങ് അറ്റ് ആ ഒരു സ്പീഡിൽ തന്നെ ഗ്രോ ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. ബട്ട് ഡെഫിനറ്റ്ലി വിത്ത് മീ ദ ചാലഞ്ചസ് വർ, I had no knowledge in terms of how to run a business. അതൊക്കെ നമുക്കൊരു ഐഡിയ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് എങ്ങനെ എക്സിക്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യണം എന്ന് അറിയണം എന്നില്ല. There's a lot of logistics involved, a lot of operations involved, and എൻ്റെ ബിഗ്ഗസ്റ്റ് പ്രോബ്ലം വാസ് ആസ്കിങ് ഫോർ ഹെൽപ്പ്. അത് ഞാൻ റിയലൈസ് ചെയ്ത ആ ഒരു സാധനം വിട്ടുകൊടുത്തപ്പോൾ തൊട്ടാണ് ഐ തിങ്ക് ഐ ജെനുവൻലി സ്റ്റാർട്ടഡ് ഗ്രോയിങ്.
Definitely. The main thing with growing is help. We definitely need help from others.
Right, so I think it was my friends and friends and family who were doing different things. Like for example, somebody who was running another business but different format, but they could help me with something. Appam pala eduthannu palardeem knowledge vechittu I put something together. But definitely finding the right kind of vendors for the printing, and lot of trial and error, അങ്ങനെ ഒത്തിരി കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഒത്തിരി ഒരു പ്രോസസ് ഉണ്ട്, and just trusting the process is also very important.
Family plays actually a big part. For me also, they have played a very big part with taking care of baby while I do my work is a very big part actually.
Family definitely. If only you have that support. If you have that support, it's a huge push. As a child, ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ I used to be doodling all the time. ആ സമയത്ത് എൻ്റെ പേരൻസിന് പേടിയായിരുന്നു എവിടെ കൊണ്ട് അവസാനിക്കും എന്നുള്ളത്. But then once I was done with architecture and all that, that's when they were also confident. And in spite of having my degree, and still I said I want to do something different. That's when my first investment came from my family, my parents. That's when ആദ്യം കുറച്ച് പൈസ, because ആദ്യം നമുക്കൊരു ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് വേണം പ്രിന്റ് ചെയ്യാനൊക്കെ, especially because that's the industry, that's the space I am in. I need that first stock അല്ലേ. അപ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ first investment came from my family, and now my husband is a huge part of the whole process. ഇപ്പോഴും നമ്മളുടെ ടീമിലെ ലോജിസ്റ്റിക്സ് ആൻഡ് ഓപ്പറേഷൻസ് ഹീ ടേക്സ് കെയർ ഓഫ് ഇൻ സ്പൈറ്റ് ഓഫ് ഹിസ് ബിസി ഷെഡ്യൂൾ. സോ ഹീ ഈസ് ഡെഫിനറ്റ്ലി എ ഗ്രേറ്റ് ഹെൽപ്പ്. ആൻഡ് ബോത്ത് ദ ഫാമിലി ഐ ഗോട്ട് മാരിഡ് ഇൻ ടു ഇസ് ഓൾസോ ഭയങ്കര സപ്പോർട്ടാണ്. സോ എനി ന്യൂ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് ഐ ട്രൈ ഔട്ട്, ഐ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഗോ ആൻഡ് ഷോ ദം, ബിക്കോസ് ദേ ആർ മൈ ബിഗ്ഗസ്റ്റ് ചിയർ ലീഡേഴ്സ് ആൻഡ് ഫാൻസ്. So family support has been a great push in the whole process.
Yeah, definitely. That's also the biggest push that we need. If family is not there, we would never
because
have
sometimes
reached
you have to work over. After hours I'll be working. Adakke understand in a family is great.
Seriously. In my case, with taking care of her, my husband also helps in taking care of my baby. And while he's out, his family and my family also definitely takes care of her. While I'm at my place, my family, my father's brother's wife and all takes care of her. She's very naughty, and they manage her like they're all good at taking care of her.
So I think the support system, both from friends and family, is very important.
Same here. It was a real pleasure to meet you.
Of course, we're doing two separate things, of course, Pasha. At the same time, having this conversation was great because we could find out that in spite of doing two different things, we have a lot of things in common, especially the challenges we face, what drives us to do what we do and things like that.
And really thanking Relations Media Broadcasting for hosting this session. And thank you again for taking the time.
So it was an absolute pleasure to have this conversation with you.